All right. I better adjust this a little bit. Thank you for being here. Can you hear me okay? How about the guys in the back there? You can hear me too. Oh, wonderful. My name's Andy Oblett. I'm Chief Deputy with the Davis County Sheriff's Office. We're doing a memorial for the entire county, and so you'll see chiefs and officers and deputies from all the different offices in Davis County, the police departments and the Sheriff's Office. You guys are welcome to come over here by us if you want to come out of the shade. If you want to hang out way over there, I don't know if you can hear me, but we've got lots of chairs up here, so feel free to come and sit down here. I'm going to go through the program. One thing I want you to notice right away is on the back of the program. Did everybody get one? If you have a program, if not, we have a basket full of them going around. There's an officer protocol, so that just tells the officers what to do and when we have a salute, when we have a pledge of allegiance. If the officers can pay attention to that, that'll help you be in sync. Tonight, we have some pretty exciting stuff going on. We have a few different musical numbers that I'm excited about. We'll start today with the national anthem, then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll lead that. Then we'll have another musical number by the Viewmont High School Choir. The national anthem at the start will be sung by Miss Davis County, Hannah Romney. Then we're going to have a speaker, Colonel Mike Rapich from the Highway Patrol. We'll go down to Tribute to the Fallen from Polly Heisel, who's a daughter of Trooper Redberg, and then Caitlin Skinner, who's a wife of Officer Skinner, two of our fallen officers in Davis County. Then we'll have another speaker, Chief Deputy Taylor West. Then we'll have a flag ceremony from our Honor Guard. Taps will be played by Deputy Logan Payne on the bugle. Then we'll have a laying of the wreath, and we'll have bagpipes. So that's the order of the program. I'll probably stand up and sit down a few times to try and make sure things are going in the right direction and to introduce the speakers and whatnot. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. We appreciate the support we get from our citizens and family in Davis County that help us to do our job. And we appreciate your support tonight, and we think it's important to have a memorial like this where we remember the officers and deputies that have fallen, that they'll never be forgotten. So with that, we'll start with the national anthem from Hannah Romney. If you can all please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I know this is a somber moment, but let's give her a round of applause. She did a good job. Thank you. I'd like to lead everyone in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you'd start with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. All right, the Yuma High School Choir is coming up. They're going to sing two numbers, America the Beautiful and No Man is an Island. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what I did, but I'll try not to do that again. Sorry about that. So our speaker tonight is Colonel Michael S. Rapich. He's worked with the Department of Public Safety for 31 years and currently serves as a colonel of the Utah Highway Patrol. He's a graduate of the Brigham Young University with a Master's of Public Administration and a Bachelor's of Criminal Justice from Columbia College. A native of Green River, Utah, he graduated from Green River High School before enlisting in the U.S. Coast Guard, where he served as a motor lifeboard coxswain. Did I see that one? You maybe can tell us about that. Colonel Rapich has progressed through the ranks of the Utah Highway Patrol, which has included assignments throughout the state. Prior to his current assignment, Colonel Rapich served 6 years as an assistant superintendent of the Utah Highway Patrol and 3 years as a bureau commander of the State Bureau of Investigations. In 2010, Colonel Rapich graduated from the FBI's National Academy and is also a graduate of the Northwestern School of Staff and Command. Colonel Rapich comes from a family legacy of state troopers. His father dedicated 30 years to the Highway Patrol before retiring as a captain. Colonel Rapich lives in a rural community in Tooele County, as do I, with his wife Carrie, and has 2 sons, Jeremy and Wyatt. Please help me welcome Colonel Rapich.
Thank you, Chief Oblad, and thank you to Sheriff Sparks and the Davis County Sheriff's Office for the invitation to be able to be here today and participate in this ceremony. As this week, when we take an opportunity to remember those of our profession who made the ultimate sacrifice, who serve and represent themselves as someone that we look to as the beaming example of why we serve our communities. And today, to be able to be here specifically to honor 4 officers amongst the officers of the state of Utah. And we can honor 2 of those that are Utah State Troopers. In our office, there are 17 plaques that are on the wall as you come in our office. And they're arranged where you cannot enter our office without seeing these 17 plaques that are displayed on the wall. We look at them every day. Those 17 plaques honor 17 of the Utah law enforcement officers who served as Utah State Troopers and made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the state and the community and the people of the state of Utah. Of those 17, 2 are being honored here today. 1, Trooper George D. Reese. I never knew Trooper Reese. He hired on in 1947, a little bit before my time, but I did learn of him. I learned that he did hire on in 1947. And he served as a Utah Highway Patrol trooper for 13 years before his watch came to an end in 1960 on July 2nd, not far from here, from where we are right now, close to the lagoon entrance, as he and other officers were attempting to apprehend a high-speed pursuit suspect. And in the course of doing so, Trooper Reese's vehicle was struck head-on by the suspect in that pursuit. And he was killed. The second Utah State Trooper that we are honoring today, I did know. Lieutenant Tom Retberg. And Lieutenant Tom Retberg and my father were very close friends. And so I got to know him before I even became a state trooper. I got to know him very well after I became a state trooper. Tom was an incredible person. I learned that he was an incredible golfer and very passionate about that. But more than that, he loved 2 things very dearly. 3 things. He loved his family. He loved being a Utah State Trooper. And he loved to fly. And Lieutenant Retberg was one of a few people as we advanced the early formation of our Aero Bureau and the aviation unit of the Utah Highway Patrol that services the entire state of Utah. He was one of the early helicopter pilots that defined very early on a program that has grown to become an incredible asset to the state of Utah, something we are very, very proud of. He hired on with the Highway Patrol in 1975 as a state trooper. He had a lot of things that happened in his career. He became a pilot while he was on the Highway Patrol. In that capacity, he worked with the Department of Transportation for a period of time. but ultimately was a lieutenant in our Aero Bureau as an air helicopter pilot. And he also, on February 11th, 2000, his watch came to an end as he was conducting a test flight of a helicopter not far from where we are here right now. I remember that day very well. I remember exactly what I was doing. I remember where I was at when I got the news that my good friend had passed away and made that sacrifice. You know, we talk about it, and it's an opportunity just that we've been all over the entire state. Every year we take an opportunity to go around in every one of our offices, and we take an opportunity to talk about what we did in the previous year, talk about things that came out of the legislative session, and take account and stock of all of the successes and the things that we've accomplished in the year. We do that throughout the entire state. And we talk about the amazing things that Utah law enforcement officers and officers across the country do. We talk about the hard things that they so willingly and anxiously are involved with. A few weeks ago, I had an opportunity to fly and visit New York City with my wife and my brother-in-law and his wife. First time I'd ever been there. It was an incredible city. Definitely someplace I would not want to live, but enjoy visiting. And as soon as we got there, the very first place we wanted to go visit was the 9/11 Memorial. It was an incredible place. It's just exactly as fantastic as you could, and very representative of so many incredible people, and specifically first responders, firefighters, and police officers who made an ultimate sacrifice at that location. And as we were walking through the memorial and seeing the twisted wreckage of fire vehicles and the ladder trucks that represented those that had gone into the towers, and the police officers that were there, it kind of struck me that it was really incredible that we take such an opportunity to remember people who have made that sacrifice. And we value the opportunity like today to be able to honor that sacrifice. And maybe you wonder why that is so much part of what we are as a community, what we are as a nation, what we are as a state. And I thought about that, and I thought, first off, we all very much have appreciation for those who are willing to do the hardest of things, who took a career, who took a commitment, took an oath, that if they were asked to be there, to do the hard things when no one else wanted to be there, that they would do that. And we honor those that do. And we take an opportunity to show appreciation for that. But I think more than that, it's also an opportunity to show that deep in our hearts, we hope that there will always be those willing to do the hardest things and represent this state and our communities in this nation. Today, I just came from a graduation at the police academy where we welcomed in a whole new group of brand new police officers, willing and anxious to be there to do hard things. And at the same time, we take an opportunity of those that came before us who did those hard things. I hope we always find opportunities to remember those who set an example, who laid the foundation of what we do and why we continue to do that. And the communities that we serve, the state we serve, and the organizations we represent. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
We're going to have a tribute to the fallen, first by Polly Heisel, and then Caitlin Skinner.
Oops. Okay. Hi, my name is Polly Heisel. I am Tom Redberg's daughter. My dad flew hundreds of missions for the Utah Highway Patrol, saving lives, looking for missing people, or plucking injured people off ledges or canyons. I remember February 11, 2000 at 2:16 p.m. like it was yesterday. My father, Thomas Redberg, who was lieutenant for the Utah Highway Patrol, crashed in Woods Cross after doing a maintenance auto rotation. The blade motor seized up, cutting the tail rotor off, killing him and the mechanic that was riding with him, Thomas Verharvich. Witnesses in the area stated that it looked like he was trying to steer away from the subdivision that was in the area and into an empty field. I was working as a sergeant over dispatch in Vernal when I got the message to respond to dispatch and call my mom, which I thought was weird, but at that point I had a feeling it was my dad. I think family members of police officers always have it in the back of their mind that they're going to get that call. Especially after working in law enforcement and seeing officers I worked with die in the line of duty. My dad worked 26 years with the Highway Patrol and was just getting ready to retire, so in a blink of an eye, my mom and my sister's life changed forever. But I didn't always respect my father. I was what you would call a wild child in high school. Having a dad as a police officer was not a cool thing, and I hated it, and I was always in trouble, hung around with the bad crowd, and slept in school, and always tested my dad's patience. I remember I was sloughing so much at school that he decided he was going to start taking me in his patrol car and in uniform. I was so mortified and embarrassed. He would drop me off at the front door and sit there and watch me go in the building. But as soon as I seen his taillights around the corner, I was out of there. My poor dad wouldn't even make it to the UHP hangar before he'd get a call from school telling him his daughter didn't show up for class. Later, when I was older, my dad literally would walk around my cars and tell me what a big moving violation they were, and he could use a whole ticket book on just my car. You know, tinted windows, white tires, expired registration, highway patrol stuff. But as I got older and I got into law enforcement, I really started to realize the job and respect him for it. I wanted to become a trooper at one point a few months before he was killed, and I remember him telling me he was nervous. He would stand by me and encourage me, but the world was a different place, and there was a lot of crazy people out there. Now I sit back and think, wow, if he saw how the world is now, he probably would never encourage me. My dad was a jokester. He joked with his coworkers, his family. He would tease and scare the grandkids. Every chance he got, he would wait until the kids got in the hot tub and put on a scary mask and come out and scare them. He had a closet full of items to scare the crap out of the grandkids. If he were alive right now, he would have 6 grandkids, 7 great-grandkids, and 2 great-great-grandkids. A grandson, a great-grandson, and a great-great-grandson are named after him. My mom moved to California a few years after my dad died and is a senior volunteer for the Oceanside Police Department and has been for close to 20 years now. My 2 sisters also live in California. Even though it's been 23 years since he's been gone, it seems like yesterday. And there's so many things I wish he could see that happened to our family. There's always going to be that one vital missing piece that we wish he could enjoy, because once they're gone, no one can replace them. I've been to the Police Memorial in Washington, D.C. a few times. Until you've been to a candlelight vigil or the service for your loved one, or even walk through the Police Memorial wall and see someone you love's name on that wall, it's surreal and it's humbling. My dad was everything to us. He only had 3 girls. He taught us how to change tires, how to fish, how to hunt, how to survive in the wilderness, and how to drive. And to play golf, but none of us really picked up on that. The only thing he didn't teach us was how to live without him. To all the officers out there, for the time you took your oath, for the time you responded to my need, for your service, for my security, for your bravery, for my peace, for my protection, for your courage, for my safety, for your sacrifice, for all the times you've left your family, and for all the times you risked it all, I thank you. Blue lives matter. I will always be a blue family, and I will always back the blue. Thank you.
Hero, we honor thee, keeping safe thy memory. These words that are engraved on Charlie's challenge coin are the epitome of what we are doing here today, keeping safe their memory, recognizing that they are still a part of our lives even in death. We honor, we support, and we love every officer whose name is emblazoned on this memorial, which reminds us of what is engraved on the National Law Enforcement Memorial. In valor, there is hope. As we take this time every year to honor those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, we gain a little hope. We honor that heroism of not just every officer, but of the men they were and what they stood for. There is not a day goes by that I don't miss my husband and the wonderful man that he was. I only hope that I can keep that memory alive through our children. Everyone here has lost someone. a friend, a coworker, a family member, or in my case, a husband and the father of my children. And with that, we've not just lost someone, but we've gained something as well. For me, it was a law enforcement family, a respect for those who serve, and a deep love for the legacy my husband left behind. In closing, I'd like to share a poem that was part of my husband's funeral. The policeman stood to face his God, which must always come to pass. He hoped his shoes were shining just as brightly as his brass. Step forward now, policeman, how shall I deal with you? Have you always turned the other cheek? To my church have you been true? The policeman squared his shoulders and said, well, Lord, I guess I ain't. For those of us that wear the badge can't always be a saint. I had to work most Sundays, and at times my talk was rough, and sometimes I was violent because the streets are awful tough. But I never kept a penny that wasn't mine to keep, though I worked a lot of overtime when the bills just got too steep. And I never passed a cry for help, though at times I shook with fear. And Lord, please forgive me, sometimes I wept unmanly tears. I know I don't deserve a place here, Lord, among the people here. They never wanted me around except to calm their fears. If you have placed for me here, Lord, it needn't be so grand. I never had or expected much, so if you don't, I'll understand. There was silence all around the throne where saints had often trod, as the policeman waited quietly for the judgment of his God. Step forward now, policeman, you've borne your burdens well. Come walk your beat on heaven's street, you've done your time in hell. Thank you.
A big thank you to Polly and Caitlin. I really appreciate you coming and sharing this evening with us and sharing remarks and memories of your loved ones. We had some nice pictures of them, and the wind didn't cooperate, and so afterwards when we have refreshments over by our front doors there's big pictures of our four fallen officers that I want you to take a look at. I'm so thankful for your courage, Caitlin and Polly. My heart goes out to you. I have a wife and 2 daughters and a son, and I often reminisce or worry about what will happen if my last day on earth would be while I was at work. And I am thankful for the law enforcement family, but I'm also thankful for the support of my family, the support that you two were to your loved ones while they're in their career. Our next speaker is Chief Taylor West. I've got his bio here. Chief Deputy Taylor West is a 25 veteran of law enforcement. He started his career with Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office, where he worked in corrections and patrol. In 2001, Chief West was hired by the Salt Lake City Police Department, where he worked for the next 18 years. At SLCPD, Chief West served as a patrol officer, property crimes detective, homicide detective, undercover narcotics detective, a patrol sergeant, an undercover narcotics sergeant, a patrol watch commander, and an investigations unit lieutenant. I got to work with Taylor when we were on the bike squad downtown. In 2019, Chief West accepted a job with Davis County Sheriff's Office and was assigned as a patrol captain. He was later assigned to the Justice Services Division and is currently the Chief Deputy over law enforcement. He oversees the dispatch center, courts, investigations, crime lab, and patrol. Chief West holds a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice from Weber State University and is a graduate of the Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command. In his off time, Chief West enjoys, well, here he put long walks on the beach and advocating for homeless pets. I'm going to say I've known Taylor for many years. He's a jokester. He's helped me through some hard times in my career. He enjoys being a dad, a husband to Sam, his wife, and really enjoys hunting and the outdoors. And he's not as tough as he looks. big teddy bear. Chief West.
I think Chief Butcher wrote my bio. I don't like long walks on the beach, but I do love homeless pets. I have to refer to notes because I don't have a very good memory, but Sir Winston Churchill once said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." So I thank you for your bravery tonight with me up here. You're going to need courage to be there. In 1962, President Kennedy dedicated May 15th as National Police Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which that day falls, Law Enforcement National Police Week. 9 years later, almost to the day, on May 14th, 1971, two men robbed a gas station just north of here in the south side of Ogden. They stole the vehicle from the gas station attendant and they fled south towards Davis County. At the same time, Deputy Donald P. Jensen, who was a sheriff's deputy here in Davis County, was patrolling very near where we sit here today at this memorial. He heard the radio broadcast talking about the robbery that had just occurred, and he was familiar with the vehicle information and decided to go look for the suspects. About that same time, the suspects ran out of gas. Nearby here on the old highway near Tibbetts Lane. I'm not from Davis County, so I don't know where that is exactly, but I know that it's close by. And Deputy Jensen saw the vehicle without, it was pulled over to the side of the road and disabled, and he decided to offer help. One of the men approached him and informed him they were out of gas, and Deputy Jensen began to have a conversation with him through the driver's side window of the vehicle. During that conversation, Deputy Jensen became suspicious and started to question the person about why that vehicle had been there, where they were coming from, at which time he drew a firearm and shot Deputy Jensen. His accomplice was hiding nearby in a construction site and also ran up to the car and fired upon the deputy, killing him. They removed him from the vehicle and they stole his patrol car and fled to Bountiful, where they stole yet another car, and then fled to Wyoming, where they were found later that morning and apprehended. Both of them were later convicted. In the history of Utah, 147 officers have died in the line of duty. The first ever was Deputy Rodney Badger of the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office. He was saving a drowning victim from the Weaver River. The first homicide ever was a Salt Lake City police officer named William Cook, who died during a jailbreak in 1858. The most recent officer killed in the line of duty in Utah is Officer Nathan Lyday of the Ogden City Police Department, who died while investigating a domestic violence situation here in Ogden. His mom, Nancy, was a close friend of our sheriff's office and worked for many years on our search and rescue, and she passed away last year. Since the year I became a police officer in 1997, 30 officers have died in the line of duty in Utah. 17 of those were killed by violent criminal acts. 9 were killed while doing nothing more than helping other people, stranded motorists or search and rescue call-outs or aviation accidents, those types of things. Last year in this nation, 246 officers died in the line of duty, and so far this year in 2023, there's been 42 officers killed. That's one officer every 58 hours, every day, annually. There's a common theme amongst these officers, though, and that's the theme of service. If all officers chose to serve others and to put others before themselves, all of them raised their hand to the square and swore an oath to protect and to serve the citizens where they work. I'm very proud of the mission statement of the Davis County Sheriff's Office, which opens with our fundamental duty is to serve the community. I'm honored and humbled to stand beside the law enforcement officers that are here tonight. I'm uplifted by the courage that they demonstrate every single day by leaving their families at home and coming to work and knowing that they're answering people's calls for help, and today may be the day that they don't return to their loved ones. These men and women repeatedly serve. They repeatedly put their safety and security in front of others. I'm very aware and cognizant of the level of support it takes to love a police officer. I never really understood that concept. I don't come from a law enforcement family. My wife's father was a chief of police in Davis County. Her brother's a police officer. Her sister's husband, which I refuse to call my brother-in-law, I call him my wife's brother-in-law, is a police officer. And I still never understood that challenge until my own son became a police officer 4 years ago. And now I understand some of the turmoil and the strife that goes through the hearts and the souls of our loved ones when we come to work. So I commend you for that. I'm aware that it is not an easy job, and it is difficult to watch your loved ones walk out that door and that they know that they too may make the ultimate sacrifice. Tonight I ask a couple of things. I ask that we can join together to ensure that those husbands and wives and brothers and sisters and children and siblings and friends and fellow officers know that their loved ones who have paid the ultimate price will never be forgotten. We promise to not forget them. May we forever refuse to forget them and their ultimate sacrifice that they gave. And may we continue to support, love, and encourage those officers who go to work every day in a job like no other, intent to serve others with an attitude of service, knowing that they may be called upon to lay down their lives answering the call of duty. I'm so grateful for the service of those officers and for the legacy that they leave. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief West. So this is the part where we do the honor guard portion of tonight, and I want to give a disclaimer that we're going to do a 21 gun salute, and the guns are really loud. I mean, they're especially loud, and it kind of echoes. So when you hear the guy calling ready, aim. If you want to plug your ears, we're not going to judge you. No shade here. It's going to be loud. It might surprise you. It always makes me jump. So we'll proceed with the honor guard. Officers, please rise.